Hello everybody, today we have a Western Arms SCW2 Musoc handgun to look at, and I want to use this opportunity to quickly go over the differences between Western Arms R-Type SCW1, 2, and 3 systems, how to quickly differentiate them easily. This sort of information is fairly common on the internet. However, as airsoft forums get closed down or posts get deleted, this information is harder for me to find as I'm making this video. So for future enthusiasts' sake, I would like to quickly document this in video form as to help out future people. Now, special thanks to a guy on a Chinese forum that posted a Falcon steel frame and slide SCW1 GI 1911, and a Japanese guy that posted blog posts on his website showing off the differences between SCW2 and 3 handguns, and also R-Type and SCW3 differences in 2 posts. Thanks to these 2 people, we have today's information. Now, early R-Type 1911s. You can differentiate them easily from this metal plunger here. It is a magazine valve pusher, and when the hammer goes forward, there's a little bit of extra travel compared to its normal resting position. And this is what it looks like when the slide is assembled. You can see that there's a silver metal cylinder piece there. Now, here is a R-Type magazine. You can differentiate them from the big opening on the side and the full metal one-piece body and feed lips here. And these magazines seems to have 2 versions. The newer version, you can unscrew the valve here like a modern handgun with the gas key, and this one doesn't have the groove, so perhaps this is the early type that will sometimes suffer from leaking at this area. Differentiate the version of the handgun from seeing the magazine is not very accurate, because from my understanding, you can use these in your handguns as well. So you can have a new SCW handgun with a old style magazine, and some people do that since they prefer the R-Type new style, gas key version magazine that seems to have a better seal against the nozzle in the slide. Now, moving on to SCW1. SCW stands for, as you can see here, Shibuya Custom Works, which is like a special version for Western Arm Pistol, I think. And SCW1 system also has a separate piece in the lower frame here. However, the pusher for the SCW1 handguns has a complex design to it, like a little bit of contour from the side, and it is made out of like a metal plate and machined or shaped into that shape. So from the back here, instead of a round peg, you'll see more of a rectangular shape profile to it, and that is how you can tell if your Western Arm handgun is a SCW1. Another characteristics to it is that there is very little material in the frame between the top and the hole that SCW1 pusher goes through. So that is like a weak point of that handgun. And I've seen people talk about after some use, that piece will bulge up and you'll have to replace the lower frame. So one thing to look out for, I guess. Now to SCW2 and SCW3. We have no pusher at the position, but instead we have a separate piece at the stem of the hammer there, pivoting on a pin. So normally a 1911 hammer will have a metal bar pivoting on a pin that goes down here, pushing against the mainspring to provide the tension for the hammer. And for Western Arms SCW2 and 3 handguns, the magazine pusher is relocated onto the stem of the magazine. So we no longer have a separate pusher poking through. And however, SCW2 and 3 is rather hard to differentiate from the exterior. You can easily tell them apart if you can disassemble the handgun to the point that you can take the hammer assembly out. The SCW2 valve pusher is more of like a bar, while the SCW3 hammer is more like a triangle, like so. So if you see a triangle, you know that is a SCW3 latest version. And SCW2 also, if I remember correctly, comes with a adjustable hop-up, but you can interchange. So seeing that doesn't mean you have a SCW2. Maybe someone has installed that into an SCW3 pistol. Now, as for why they move from a adjustable hop-up back to a non-adjustable one, I think I remember someone talking about that the hop-up moves after shooting. So the adjustable hop-up is not a particularly good one. So maybe that's why they moved back to a fixed one for the SCW3. And as we can see here, here's a silver magazine, Wilson Combat style, no big opening here, and the feed lips is plastic. There's the same spring-loaded piece there. So that is the differences between Western Arms 1911 systems. Now, after getting that out of the way, we can finally look at the handgun here. The Musoc handgun, I really like its appearance. And this one is a early type, so it's different from the one that Tokyo Marine make that we're more familiar with. The rear sight is a blade serrated rear sight, and the front is also a serrated front sight, and they are both heightened. Hammer is a commander style ring hammer, and the grip safety is a different flatter profile, I think. Mainspring housing, flat. This one doesn't have the Springfield Armory logo to it, and the lower frame is marked with property of US M1911. Western Arms handgun is different from Tokyo Marui and other copies of Tokyo Marui system that you can release the hammer like so. Slow release, and the feel of the hammer is a little better, and the blowback felt recoil is a little bit stronger. So I really like these Western Arms handguns. However, as they are pricier and not as common nowadays, getting parts and mags for it is harder. So it's harder and harder to use as a regular shooter. They still make Western Arm 1911s, and in Japan, and they have the custom shop, and they make a lot of name brand special looking fancy 1911s with very impressive fake metallic paintwork that simulates the holster wear or like a special kinds of material to it, which is very impressive. I hope I can go and visit the Western Arms shop in Shibuya sometimes. And yeah, even though this one is not a very fancy 1911, I'm still happy to show it to everybody, and a SCW2 handgun is perhaps not that common to find these days. And I hope I can preserve this maybe a little bit of a fading memory of Airsoft 1911s for people that is interested. And I hope you enjoy watching this video. Thanks for watching.